This is my new office space and studio, a place where I can be productive, be creative, and also relax. I moved into this new place a couple weeks ago, so there's still some fine tuning that I'm doing in order to get it exactly the way that I would like. There are also some items that are upgrades, some that are carryovers from the last setup, but most importantly, they all have a purpose. Starting with the desk setup, this is going to be my main workstation. Most of the tech pieces here are new in comparison to the end of 2024 with a lot more functionality built in. The Lume Cube monitor light bar and the Mac Studio have been with me probably the longest here, and I still think the light bar is an essential for a desk setup, especially if you're someone that likes to take physical notes. It lights up the whole workspace for easy viewing without possibly creating any overhead shadows like a room light would, like the one that's here mounted to the ceiling. The new vision here was to have a clean desk itself, and to achieve that, I moved the screen and the speakers all off of the desk. This leaves room on the desk for my mouse and keyboard, controllers and pens, and also a notebook. And that leaves the shelving over in the corner here, which you can't see, as the place that I actually hold all of the computing power. But before we get to the shelves, let's talk about the upgrades. I changed my Kanto Aura 4s for the Kanto U6s with a subwoofer. This actually wasn't something that I planned. I was browsing OfferUp for an ITX PC case, and instead I found a deal that landed me the U6s, the sub, and some speaker stands for less than $300. I had to take it so I can test a 6-inch speaker versus the 4-inch Aura speakers that I had, and I will be making a comparison video. So if you're looking to upgrade your speakers this year, subscribe. I did swap out the stands that came with them for the Kanto stands, mainly because the others were a little bit low. I needed something that brought the speakers up to my ear level whenever I was sitting here at this desk, and the stands also do match the white that the U6s are, so the aesthetics are a plus. These have been great, the sound is clear, the size matches the size of the screen that I'm using, and it has Bluetooth for where I do just want to listen to my music off of my phone instead of using the computers. They also come with a remote, which is a lot easier because I no longer sit where I can reach the volume adjuster on the Kanto stands. So instead, I do have a remote instead here on my desk that I can use to adjust any of that wirelessly. But I am experiencing a small issue, mainly due to the screen, and that's because there's no 3.5mm headphone jack on the TV, which is the LG B5 48-inch 4K OLED TV that I'm using. There are two main use cases for this TV, productivity and gaming. For productivity, it's been good. I don't want to call it great just yet, but it really hasn't been bad. The main takeaway from my experience is that you need to scale the UI correctly and also make sure that you leave enough space between you and this TV. To achieve this, that's why I also planned on getting a TV stand to get it completely off my desk, since my desk is a 24-inch width desk. Now I sit about 30 inches away and it's comfortable. There's less head turning and the text clarity is honestly good. There's no blurry text or fuzzy edges, and the scaling for 1080p on Mac allows for the elements to also be way bigger and the text to be completely legible. For the second use of gaming, this is probably the end game setup. I'm coming from two sides of the spectrum, a 65-inch OLED TV out in the living room and a 32-inch OLED monitor that used to be on my desk. This TV at 48 inches is a happy medium that actually feels much more immersive than the 65-inch OLED TV in the living room because of how close I am to it. For PC gaming, the only limitation is the maximum 120 Hz instead of 240 Hz like most monitors. But I do mainly play RPG games and don't play much shooters, so for a 4K screen, 120 Hz is probably the max that my PC could output anyways. For now, it's finding that balance of, can I actually work all the time on this large of a screen just so that I can reap the benefits when I do get to game outside of work? While I think about that a little bit more, my keyboard has changed. I swapped back to the Logitech MX Keys full-size keyboard. There's just no beating it for productivity. I haven't quite left mechanical keyboards just yet. I still do like to keep two as my optional go-tos, but when the custom ones required a wired connection, the new setup just isn't working out for that. What is working here though is the new shelves that come built into the room. Don't look at the bottom ones or the cable management. That's still a work in progress. The top ones, however, hold all of my tech, and that makes all of this work. Since this setup is my all-in-one, I also do have tech here for both sides of the uses, productivity and gaming. For the productivity side, everything here is the same as last year. I'm still on the M2 Max Studio that I purchased halfway through 2025, and it's been the workhorse that has edited the past 3 videos on the second half of 2025. I definitely need to get those numbers up this year. It does everything from research to scripting to editing and posting as well. I've used Mac for my supply chain job as well, and knowing all the shortcuts and the ways to work on a Mac has honestly kept me on it to still use it for my creative side. Plus, Final Cut Pro is the easiest editing program that I've used for video, and I really don't feel like learning any of the new ones over on Windows, which I could edit all of that on my PC, which is the Lian Li A4H2O. I'll put the build specs up here if you're interested, but generally it's a great PC for gaming. I built my first PC in January of 2025, and it just wasn't getting much use as I thought I would get out of it. It was a big chunker of a tower, and while I enjoyed playing Marvel Rivals for a bit, it kind of died down right after that. I even considered just getting rid of everything altogether, but instead I decided to try out an ITX build instead. It was a huge decision to sink more money into something that wasn't getting much use to begin with, but I purchased the Legion Go S, and I was already starting to build a library in Steam, so having something to still be able to play it on a TV screen was the way to go at the time. Basically, the only things I kept originally are the SSD and the 7600X CPU. Everything else was changed out to go ITX. I did try micro ATX with the Lian Li A3 and also tried the Fractal Terra case for ITX, but ultimately landed on this Lian Li A4. I am considering giving the B4 a try later this year. That's something that I saw from CES 2026, so maybe I might switch later this year. By the way, every piece of the upgrades here was bought used from either a marketplace or open box from Micro Center. Always save money where you can. For consoles, I upgraded to the PS5 Pro this year. I gave this a try last year when it first came out, and it didn't really feel like enough of an upgrade to the PS5, so I returned it. So what has changed? Nothing. It still doesn't feel like a huge upgrade. I'm still not blown away by the quality, but being this close to my TV screen, I wanted to get every bit of performance that I could and visual clarity for my PS5. I also do have a Switch 2, which was here in the shelf, but now it's out in the living room. It probably is getting the most use right now because I would like to finish Silksong soon enough. I'm in Act 2, so definitely don't spoil anything just yet. As for the other side of my room, which is behind me right now, I bought a 3D printer, the Bamboo Lab P2S. This was just released in the US last year, and I almost purchased the P1S on the holiday sales right when this was about to come out. Even though I didn't have experience with the P1S, I don't regret going with the P2S. I've already printed a bunch of stuff for my studio, mainly organization and display items. I'll have a video coming up soon as well, going more in depth into the printer, but ultimately, it's definitely worth it if you have ideas that you want to get out there, or if you just are someone that likes to stay organized and want to make custom fitted organization tools for any drawer or desk or kind of storage thing that you have out there. The printer sits on top of the IKEA Knoxholt countertop cabinet. This is an extra piece of furniture that was no longer needed in this new kitchen of this new apartment, so I took it as storage and as a place to hold all the products that I use for videos as well as for the printer stuff. Inside, I mainly have all the marketplace listings that I have active, some camera gear, and some printer extras. It also has a drawer for items that I do use regularly since I no longer have an Alex drawer here next to my desk. Again, custom organization here goes a long way to make things like this work. This is also the backdrop for my video calls and YouTube videos so that the slat walls add to the look and also work well as an accent wall in this space. Oh, and I do have my Canyon bike, which I actually had to take out for this recording, but it mainly sits here under the window, probably the most expensive I have made in a while, yet definitely the best purchase I made in 2025 without regrets. For additional storage, I also do have a closet that's part of the room. It's definitely messy, not finalized just yet, but ultimately it will hold any box that adds resale value to items like PC components, consoles, and Apple devices. Also, a place for me to hold larger camera gear that isn't quite used every day. I'm thinking light stands, dollies, tripods, things like that. I also accidentally bought two Fractal Terras. I really thought this case would work and wanted to secure a case, and I actually didn't do enough testing in it in terms of temperatures, so let me know if you want to see a Terra build in the future. In general though, this will probably be the least use area of my room, at least not for daily use. It's something that's just kind of thrown stuff in there. Whereas the rest of the office space will be where I spend most of my time. This room has been transformed into a studio that can do it all for me. From being productive to being creative and still enjoying relaxing time, this is slowly becoming my do-it-all station. Like all setups and studios though, I don't think anything is truly done or permanent just yet. I am still working to find the best tech for both living room and desk setups, and with CES 2026 happening, there have been a lot of new exciting tech that's coming out later this year. LG's newest 5K monitor is already calling my name, especially since I just recently sold the 5K monitor IPS one from LG from a few years ago. Let me know down in the comments though, what are you most looking forward to this year in terms of upgrades? Maybe this is the year that you too consider going with a TV instead of a monitor for your desk setup. As always, thank you for watching. Click here to watch another one of my videos, and I will catch you in the next one.